Cheer, motherfuckers. Dirtbag Dan Show. We're back, and we have a special guest in the building tonight joining us, completing the fucking table setup.
Never left.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kung Fu Vampire in this bitch.
Yeah.
Woo! DVD show.
We're clapping. Fuck, man. It's been a long time since you've been on the podcast.
Couple years? 2 years?
Did we do this just like last time, right before we went on fucking tour?
I think so.
Or like right after?
A couple weeks before.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah. And that was 2014, I believe. Summer, March-ish, 2014. Me and you and Recognize and G-Moski.
Awesome fucking tour.
That was talking to that.
Tour.
Yes.
Awesome fucking tour.
Get it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want you to James Hetfield that motherfucker. That was a super fun tour. We went I would say like from Kansas City all the way over. We did like the whole fucking most like West Coast and a little bit of the
it was like the West. We did the West.
We did the whole West. Yeah, because it was more than just like we did everything this side of the Rockies and then a little bit on that side of the Rockies too.
Kansas City. Do we do Oklahoma?
Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Oh, those are so fun.
Crazy, bloody hotel rooms. Very, yeah. Get it in his face, Skyler. So we're about to go back on the road again, but this fucking time, we're going to Canada, man.
Skyler, was this your beer?
No, it was mine, but you could have it.
No, it's not my beer.
We're going to Canada, and we're going to visit our fucking King of the Dot brethren, and we're actually going to be like it's a like a variety show of sorts, right? Like this isn't your average hip hop show.
A variety show, like with like musical acts and skits and
we're doing stand-up
burlesque
comedy.
dancing.
burlesque dancing.
I hope.
We should mix that.
Yeah,
That would be cool.
Actually,
I wouldn't
that's
be
a
mad
great
at it.
idea.
Yeah. Cody, here we go.
Is burlesque when it's kind of the
I'm
bigger,
always
bigger
down to
girls,
throw tits
right?
into
Bigger
things.
girls? Burlesque?
I don't
Could be
know.
ladies with big old titties. Yes.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know that
Pasties?
it's like that's the definition of it, but every time I've ever seen burlesque, it's always some thick ass bees.
I like it because
Yeah.
they're just like no holds barred. They're down for whatever. and
Tourette's?
That's how we are, you know?
At Tourette's, they always have the thick beezies getting down on some burlesque.
Oakland's
some
got
of them
the
are
thick
like some of them
beezies,
are bad as fuck.
They
too.
do like
they
and
get down too.
Yeah.
Kung Fu would dig this. They do themed ones. One time I seen a burlesque fucking thick ass beezy breaking down as Pinhead. She was dressed in like full
cool.
Wow.
Pinhead
Crazy.
regalia, and then at the end, like after she got into her full like tassel mode, she busted out a hammer and started knocking nails into her head. It was fucking amazing.
I like your use of
Brutal.
regalia. That was very
That's
palatial.
fucking crazy.
That was it. Shouts out
palatial.
to fucking young Simon Rex.
One of the early fucking internet sensations.
I
with
only
that one.
refer to him by his actor name, by his IMDb.
You mean
name.
Simone?
Simone.
Rex?
Simone.
Simone Rex.
Simone Rex.
Simone. I literally would call him that all the time too. I'd be like Simone. And he'd be like, I don't
What's
like.
cool about his scenario, dude, is he's like, oh, there's a show. If it doesn't pay what I want, fuck off. I'm actor.
Yeah,
you know,
I
like
just
he
won't
does
show
what
up.
he wants to do.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I live in L.A. Sure, I'll do Santa Barbara. Yeah, I'll do San Diego. Money's right. Fuck it. Fuck some hoes.
He's
hang
all
out there
about like
weekend.
one-offs in like Arizona and
Yeah,
like,
he'll
Vegas
stay close.
and-
He'll fly out, party with his certain friend, do something weird while he's out there.
Yeah.
He's got a fun life. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, that he's the man too. His house is fucking super dope, and he lives like legit in the Hollywood Hills. And one time we were out there and we seen Will Ferrell just like run
Just
by.
posting?
No, he
Jogging?
just like
Running?
jogged by, and he was like, "Hey," and they were like, "Hey." It was
Oh,
pretty, it was
shit.
pretty- It's just weird stuff, man. It's just
Hollywood Hills is always a
That's
good time,
nuts.
man.
yeah, pretty fun.
Will Ferrell jogs, huh?
Yeah, and then we recorded a song.
You know what? If he didn't jog, he'd probably be a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
He's
You know,
a
he know he
he's a
parties.
barrel-chested man. That's
Yo,
you know
for
he
sure.
be eating lobster with hella butter.
On
He
some
eats whatever
other
the
shit.
fuck he wants.
When we were watching, we
right.
went and seen a Kings game when we were in L.A. and Will Ferrell popped up on the screen and he did like the make some noise and I was like, yo, that's fucked. Like there's no equivalent to that in San Jose.
Yeah.
Who's it? It's Kung Fu going make some noise. I'm like, all right,
Who's that guy? Okay.
it's not Will Ferrell. That's fucking
It
I
could
don't
be
listen to rap, honey. Who is that
could
gentleman?
be DJ King Assassin.
DJ King Assassin. Yo, even E40.
Yo, was that MC Twist at the Sharks game? Oh shit!
Twist. Fucking San Jose.
what was
shit.
the other? What was
If you
the
don't
R&B
know.
chick? The super banging Mexican girl from back. Is it Angelina?
Yeah.
Was that her?
Yeah. That's like
Do you remember that shit? That was
That's
when we
like-
were
I don't remember
little.
it,
We
no.
were little. She was like in the '90s. She was like
That's like
I used to
freestyle.
love her,
Yeah.
but
It's,
not about that. I don't know the songs. I just know the style. You know, is it
it's
called
Mexican.
freestyle?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
freestyle
what's the other
music.
thing it's called?
It's
Though? It's called one other thing
girl,
though. High
you know
energy.
I love
High
you.
energy.
Yeah,
Right,
like
yeah,
energy, like
yeah.
Lisa and all that
What's
shit.
crazy
yeah.
is I used to tell people I fucking
That's
hate
what the
that
homeboys
shit.
bump at barbecues and
I used to
stuff.
tell people I hated that shit, and when I grew up, I listened back, look back at it, I'm like, it's not that bad. It's got memories.
bro.
It's like the memories make it kind of okay. But I used to fucking people be like, what kind of music you like? I go everything except freestyle high energy, like anything else. You know what I mean?
Yo, which is crazy because you're like more Mexican than me. Like you legit, like we grew up together, and you legit had like the lowrider and fucking where like they had the fucking Ben Davis.
Oh, yeah,
full
yeah.
the full. I think I even seen you with like the fucking little hat too. Like you know what I mean?
Everything Mexican, man. I grew up in Latin culture.
You were so fucking.
I'm like the love child of San Jose for real. Like San Jose has all these cultures, right? This Asian shit, this Indian shit, Mexican
Yeah.
shit, all this shit, and it like squeezed out in a factory, and out comes Kung Fu Vampire. You
This
know what I
fool
mean?
roll up in a lowrider and do a backflip. Fucking,
Yeah,
that's
man.
real.
I was in a fucking Mexican norteño car club for a decade.
Oh yeah, you had
For
the
a
ill
decade.
fucking, you had the ill thing in your back window and shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that-
still got it, man. And those guys, thing that's crazy is I'm friends with all those guys. Camaraderie, loyalty, and respect at its finest. All those dudes are fucking hunters, family men. They got great jobs. They own that club is still around. They kind of grew bigger now that they took like a little hiatus. They grew bigger. It's called Brown Impressions. And they fucking, now they have a hangar, like a straight real
That's
deal
tight.
warehouse with their cars. They got a frame off restored in 65 Impalas, convertibles. You know what I mean? So, and I love all those dudes, man.
And you just did a music video and had like the fucking lowriders lit in that shit, right?
Yep, we just shot a straight San Jose video, basically showing that style of San Jose that gets lost in the mix amongst all the people trying to be popping commercial.
Yo,
around
it's
here,
still like you still like they still cruise on Santa Clara and you still see the lowriders like you can go to any like fucking parking lot on the east side, you know what I mean, and you're gonna on a Sunday and you're gonna see a fucking lowrider pull up playing some fucking Tony Sandoval.
It's crazy because here in San Jose we've had an interesting thing with police versus gangs versus this stuff. Because like I got to be in that really big lowrider movement at the end. Like it was around way before me, and you couldn't get 4 blocks in an hour. It would take an hour to get
I remember
4 blocks.
cruising and it used to be
Now
the fucking
I'm in my
shit.
little Lexus on the same street, the same time of night, going
Yeah,
getting to the
yeah.
club, pulling up to the front of wherever I'm trying to go. I'm
Yeah.
like, and sometimes I'll reminisce. I'll be like, I remember you couldn't do this. It would take an hour You
to
know what
get
I'm saying?
if you got off at 87 at Santa Clara,
Turned right
to
there?
get to like 10th Street, it was gonna take you
Hour and a half.
yeah,
That's
for
hour and a
sure.
half,
And
yeah.
that's all people did. Like, because if you weren't 21 and you weren't going to the bars, fools would just be riding down the street and they
Oh, yeah.
get out. and
Cruising
fucking-
downtown back in the day was way different than it is now.
all the way to
It's
the
not
east
gonna-
side, right? Like they go all the way down to like Story and
Yeah,
shit.
the run was you'd go down, you'd get off at 87 for guys like us who were Southsiders or whatever. You get off there, make a right, go down Santa Clara, and then it started to get real dope because it was too cramped in the downtown part. Then it'd
Yeah.
get real dope around like 14th, 15th
Yeah,
Street by that new McDonald's and the train tracks, right?
Yeah.
It'd get real dope over there, and people would be in those little parking lots of those closed businesses, hopping, hitting switches, getting in
Yeah,
fights,
yeah.
hollering at bitches, drinking. You know what I mean? And then you would go up and make a right on King. And then you'd go down King, and then by San Antonio, by the Pink Elephant, it got ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I remember back then,
That was like
I
the
rolled,
east side of it.
That was like it got crazy.
Yeah.
There was people lined up on the sides of the roads. I was with my car club. I had major switches in my car. Like I had extended A-arms for anybody who knows about lowriders. I had my car customized so that it would go higher.
Dude, I
when I
remember-
went all the way up. Remember how high it
you'd
was, like a
pull
4x4?
You'd pull up in fucking shell
Sideways
and,
and
just
shit.
fucking sideways it
So
and get
the
out.
reason why you do that, is so like I would put sandbags in the corners of my trunk so I could tip the car over. So people when they 3-wheel, you see it on like even a Dre video, right? They have to be turning to do it. They have to 3-wheel and turn. My shit, I could get it and tip it over and literally just sit like this. And so in front of the Pink Elephant there on King Story, but on that run, I was such a fucking like crazy motherfucker at 16, dude. Just yoked out, nuts, running red lights, just fighting people, getting out of the car. But I would do 3-wheel in the middle of the fucking intersection at a red light and block the street. And my car club president was even like, dude, you are fucking nuts.
Yeah,
but we could get away with it.
I remember that guy, bro. I remember that guy.
Oh, he's the homie still,
No,
bro.
I remember. No, I remember you. I remember that guy.
I remember I ran
that
into
dude.
Skyler. He brought me over to his studio when you were on Winchester, and I showed up in a Crease Dickey suit. This was like 6 years ago, and he's like, "That's the Kung Fu vampire I remember."
I remember you.
But you know what's crazy is this is what I was gonna get into about San Jose culture. That's a fucking trip, right? Back then, cops thought us lowrider dudes were the bad guys.
Yeah, they thought that was a gang culture.
We really
straight
weren't.
Up.
It was a really small percentage. We brought that
'cause
element.
you had to have like jobs and like real shit to have.
Shit was expensive, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right? Car culture, I mean, that's like dedication right
it's-
there, especially when you're working on something for
Most
so
of these fools
long.
worked in auto parts. Like most of these fools either worked at like auto parts
Midas
stores or they
mufflers,
were like
tires.
fucking
Yeah,
mechanics, like real fucking mechanics. and
Well,
shit.
you know, and then it's like even all the competition stuff. It's not like that's something you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm gonna just build myself a
Technique,
fucking
all kinds of
competition.
shit.
Yeah, but there was
fucking
always like
system.
the dude who just fucking threw a bunch of drug money into some shit
But
real
yeah,
fast.
the problem is the cops. It took them a little too long to get their thumb on the pulse back then about what was really going on in the culture. People in big cities like this are afraid to get down and learn with people and walk around and go, "Hey, bro, how you doing, man? What do you go by? What's your street name? What gang are you with? I ain't gonna arrest you. It's cool. Let's talk." They were just so afraid and so distant that they basically made us all scared to go lowriding. So the lowriding culture, because they would give us tickets, they would try to get rid of the lowriding.
Yeah, they shut down
So
cruising. for
it
sure.
got shut down and we all got scared. Well, by the time it ended, I think cops realized, oh, this isn't the problem.
Well, you know what it was.
And it was too late.
You know why that happened though is because right around that time was when all the Fast and the Furious fucking cruising
That's true,
on
yeah.
101 and all the kids that were like racing everywhere.
Sideshows
Young,
and
tell me
stopping
when
the
to go,
freeway.
Phil.
Well, not even the sideshows and shit, but like the kids that all like would cut their mufflers off their Hondas and all fucking race down like on the
And they're the
East
ones.
Hills and
That
Oh,
was the
yeah,
shit
yeah,
that was
Silver
dangerous.
Creek
'cause
Road
people
and
would get
shit.
hit.
And kids-
people get
and
hit. They
kids
get
were
in
dying.
accidents.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
fools dying racing down Silver Creek
Yeah,
Road.
yeah.
and shit.
And
Wasn't
even
it
down Blossom Hill Road? And
Wasn't
shit,
it
you
though?
know,
Like in North San Jose, like in those industrial zones that they were really going heavy on the races. Remember, like
Yeah,
past
yeah.
Brokaw and shit.
Yeah,
that-
like Umberger
now
and
it's
shit.
all built up a little more. But remember back in the day, you go over there at night, it's like ghost town and shit. You just go down
there
some.
and over like on the East Hills, kind of at the end of Blossom Hill Road and shit. Like before they built
Coyote,
Cisco,
Piercy Road,
Coyote,
Pierce
like,
Road.
right out there, all that too.
So that
they'd meet up and cruise up 101 right there and get off and get on and do all kinds of weird shit.
that street in particular was where they would get hurt because it was windy roads and that little creek off to the side
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
dark as fuck. But like that's what happened with San Jose culture. And at the same time, I just want to add this so people listen and know a little bit about why San Jose is so unique. It happened in music too. The cops thought that live music was bringing bad elements and gangs and fights, and
so
it
they
was
closed
never
down
that.
fucking tunes.
Cactus
so they closed
Club,
down.
or previous, even
Yeah,
remember, like
yeah,
2001 or 2.
Oh,
when they
yeah,
closed
like,
Cactus Club and all these live venues. What happened was they didn't realize punk rock and hip hop
usual,
shows.
all that shit.
That's not where there was problems. It's always been here. The booty shaking. I call it fake tits and steroids. You know what I mean? The clubs with the Guidos and stuff.
Or the
they're
dudes
the
who
ones
go out
getting in
and they're
fights
like,
and shit.
it's like
Well-
the dudes are like, hey man, I'm either getting some pussy tonight or I'm gonna stab somebody.
You know what it was too?
Like,
You got-
that's it. Like, I drove all the way from Salinas and I'm
Yeah.
either getting some
But
pussy
you know what else
tonight
too? You
or
guys
I'm gonna
remember
stab
like
I've
when
literally heard a fool say like something about not. He's all, yeah, none of these bitches are giving me play. I'm probably just gonna fight. Like I've heard. That's like
Oh,
an
yeah.
actual quote I've heard
That's-
from it. Like
well, I remember
That's somebody
just
needs to
like
get
Cinco
yeah,
de Mayo.
those are like
and
people who
fucking
like cross aggression.
all the
with
shit that used to
boners.
happen with like
Oh, yeah.
Mardi Gras. You remember when the Cinco de Mayo
on Fat
riots?
Tuesday. Was it on Post Street?
Yeah.
Post
Yo,
Street.
there was
The
a Fat
gay
Tuesday
club
one
before it was a
and
gay club.
or
Cinco
Both
de
of
Mayo
them,
one.
both incidences where somebody flipped a freaking Corvette and was spinning a fucking Corvette in the middle of the street on the hood or on the roof.
Crazy.
And I always say the reason that is the way it is because people in San Jose have never had an opportunity to like party on a real scale. Like in San Francisco,
They're kids.
They
is
do it
what
all
it is.
the time.
All it is like 16-year-olds that are out fucking around,
Throwing bottles.
I remember like
shit.
I'm walking through one of the little promenades downtown. I think in between like 3rd and 4th Street or something like that off San Fernando, kind of by Camera 12 or whatever.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And people were fucking just like kids, like
Breaking every window.
They were running up, taking trash cans and shit, and smashing fucking businesses' windows and shit. Not going in to raid it, just to smash
do
the
it?
windows
Yeah.
out, like, and then just running off and like laughing and shit. It's
The problem is,
it's
like,
like-
in San Jose, everything
fucking
comes
crazy.
from here. eBay, the world is being ran by here, right? So this whole community sunk everything into protecting Google and eBay and YouTube and Apple and IBM and all the shit that comes out of here. They forgot about the kids. They didn't even care. They're like, let's just keep them home. Let's get them out of they're in the way. They're in trouble. That was like why downtown was always filled with cops all the time, is because they wanted to protect these businesses. So the kids got neglected, and that's why the music scene got fucked over here. And now cops are like, live music ain't causing no problems, because they know we don't live in a ignorant city. They know now, like, it's not these people. This is not the problem. So those are some interesting things about San Jose, man. The kids got neglected.
Always we got to have like a really cool conversation about like that's like a really good insight to who we are and where we're from. Like, because all of that shit, like, it was what we grew up around all the time. And I remember being in large groups of kids that would just kick it out. Like, we would either be skateboarding at schools or we would just be like sitting in the parking lot.
Well, we didn't have
waiting
skate parks either.
Yeah, like, there was no.
Remember they were regulating the skate parks. One would pop up and they'd be like, you don't have insurance, you don't have the proper shit. It's like anybody in this
They
rich
just
ass city
shut
could have
down
made that
everything.
shit pop.
You're
You know what I
crazy.
mean?
Like the crazy ass building designs and shit here are like made for street skating though. And
Dude,
stuff,
it don't make no sense. And then they
There's
they kick all the music out of downtown, and then they're like, we should build a bunch of housing down here, and then no one wants to live down there because there's nothing to fucking do. There's nowhere to shop. There's
so
nothing.
now
not smart.
it's
You know,
just a
so-
ghost town
so
and
it's
shit.
nothing. Now
this
it's like-
fool's whipping around in his Lexus.
All these
It's
motherfuckers-
fucked
Bro, I'll
up.
be on the same street. Like, Dan, look, just last week, this motherfucker was at the Improv headlining at the San Jose Improv. I get all dressed up, put cologne on and all that good
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And I'm like thinking I'm going to be late as fuck. Because it's downtown, right?
Yeah.
It's downtown.
Yeah.
No. I parked on the street in front of the Improv. like, right in front of it.
Well, there's nothing, and then all the
Yeah,
fucking
it's like-
there's all the fucking drugs and shit that just showed up out of nowhere because everybody left. So it's just a bunch of vacant clubs. So all these crackheads and motherfucking drug dealers are out there. They finally clean all
And they
those
scare 'em.
people up.
Yeah, they scare people off. We have a very ununified city in some respects. So it's crazy that me and Dan unify, and I think a lot of people are behind us because of it. This whole counterproductive movement, everything we're doing, because we're just kind of like, we're gonna unify. But it's like, this is kind of on some funny inner city gang shit though. And this is crazy. When we were kids, when me, Dan, and Skylar were kids, there was literally no Sureños in the city. Am I right? There was like almost none. They were shipped in a couple, one at a school. They would get beat up. It was like
Hoover. There was a decent amount that like in the West Side, I think.
So now we have full
But not
blown
as many.
fucking neighborhoods
Yeah,
of
not
this
as many
gang.
as now.
And I'm thinking to myself, if I was in that shoes, like if they had any form of organization, they wouldn't have let that happen. And now that's caused more problems and people got killed and shit. So
Yeah.
it just goes to show how lack of unity is. It's like, dude, you know where their neighborhood is, just fucking don't let it happen. Like,
Yeah, it's
like
cra-
it's just
yeah.
weird that and that's how it is with hip hop. It's like, yo, we could all throw some dope shit, but everybody's like, I'm gonna do my thing, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and it's like, it's crazy. That's why you always see me trying to get people that I can, me and Dan and this
Yeah.
guy and that guy, and it's just there's a little lack of unity. I think it comes from back to the original thing of the city is so rich they didn't give a fuck about the kids, so the kids kind of just.
They're like, you
They don't
got
connect.
permits, you got more money to give us. If you give us enough money, you can do whatever you want. But until then, we're gonna come in and shut you down. You're at capacity. This is the fire, the fire marshal shutting everybody the fuck down all the time.
Without like tooting our own horns too hard, I would say the reason that me and you build together is because me and you actually have shit to build on and off of. You know what I mean? Like, you are, for me, as like the rapper, like outside of the battling and the podcasting shit and the comedy shit now, like just as a musician, you're the first guy that handed me a fucking microphone ever on stage. You know what I
Little
mean?
known,
You were the first person that I knew that did shows and like recorded in a studio. and
Little
shit like
spoke
that.
about. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but you performed at his very first show at the fifth quarter. Yeah, that was the very first time that fucking Dirtbag Dan ever did a show.
And I was giving
you
out
were there.
edibles.
You were throwing joints and edibles out at the audience.
Hey, to all you fucking cannabis bandwagon
Coolest
motherfuckers.
motherfucker. Yo, this is way before like
Yeah,
it was legal. This is gotta be like-
This was on some. I was committing multiple felonies at a show. I don't remember who made those. They were legit too. They
Yeah,
were
oh,
like
yeah.
Hershey's Kisses
Yeah.
and Reese's Pieces Buttercup shit. This was in 2001.
Yeah, no,
Around
2002?
yeah.
2002 or 3. 2003,
I don't think it was
I
3 yet.
2002 maybe.
You're right. It's 2002,
Yeah,
3,
somewhere
something like
around
that.
Well, yeah, because I was like 18. I just graduated
We
high
fucking.
school.
That was a good show, dude. That was packed. We fucking
Yeah,
killed
it was cool.
Especially for the fifth quarter and shit.
It was vibing, bro.
And
We
it was
were
my
vibing.
first. It was my first rap show ever. And I was. And the first time the first time I ever rapped on stage was with you. The first time I ever did a show, you were fucking there performing, passing out fucking
Yep.
edibles and shit. Like you were always like the OG when it came to the music shit. And then
And now I'm younger than you. It's so weird.
Crazy as fuck.
fucking dick. Yo, but the also like you've built this whole like touring structure. Like you really found a way, and way before like I recognize battle rap as a way for me to like get out and travel the world and shit. You found a way just through your own music to be able to fucking oh shit. We forgot to put that on.
Nice.
You got it. We found a way, or you had found a way to like tour and bring your shit across the country without, fucking having to like be attached to some fucking label, and in a time when record companies weren't really fucking with artists at all. It was like the Napster age of like everybody started downloading music for free and shit. And here you were like selling music, selling merch, traveling around the country. And years later, you know what I mean? Like 2014, I got to go out with you and see the shit firsthand. And it's it's crazy. It's like,
Well, I always found it interesting because even at a time where everyone was still trying to scramble to get attention, like by a record company and trying to get attention from like a large scale management group or whatever other, like promotion team that they're trying to link up with, you were always kind of out there doing it for yourself on that independent hustle, like even back when like we were first getting started, you were already kind of like, no, I'm going to do this for myself. And it was kind of like at the time, it seemed kind of like that's kind of crazy. Like you're going to take on all that for yourself.
Yeah.
But it's like, here we are. And how many people have come and gone throughout that, 10 plus year span. And
Fuck.
Even some of the motherfuckers we thought were gonna be here, like
Yeah.
Oh,
everything
hell
about
yeah.
their shit.
Yeah.
You're like,
Exactly.
wait, what happened to that group? You're like,
yeah.
oh shit, that group. I was just thinking of one the other day. You may or may not even know the name. Can't Find a Villain. There was
Yeah,
a group
no,
called
yeah,
Can't Find a
I
Villain,
have
and
one
I
of
was
their
like,
albums.
what a great name. And I like those guys, and they opened for me and Dan at the Blank Club.
Yeah.
Like 6-7 years ago. They were at one
Yeah.
of those shows we did.
Yeah.
And then there was a Kilohertz Devils and all these different groups that you're like, oh, they're gonna do something, they're gonna and just different things split people up. But I think for me, early on, bro, I think I knew I was not gonna get love doing this like fucking Rob Zombie, Marilyn Manson, fast rapping, live band shit. I think right off the bat, I was just like, I don't care if I get love. I'm going to do what I like until I fucking crash and burn. And that was always my theory. And I was trying to unite people early with the South Bay Union in 99. I was super young trying to unite all these older rappers and all these people, and that didn't work. It finally took me until recently to be like, okay, fuck rappers. I'm not going to unify with anybody unless they make it absolutely easy on me. And I'm going to put them to work, and they're going to earn the shit. You know what I mean? So
Fuck rapper.
I feel you on
now
that.
I try not to unify at all in San Jose.
Yeah.
Everyone in San Jose, I love you, but you could suck my dick. I'm not doing shit for you.
Everybody
You never, ever appreciate it. And the ones that do know who they are. You know what I mean?
straight up, dude.
They know who they are.
Yeah, for real.
And for those of you tuning in, watching us, we're drinking some weird shit. I'm drinking
I was gonna
unfiltered
ask you what that
sake.
is.
It's
I've had
unfiltered
yeah,
sake.
it's good. It's
Wow.
good.
It's smooth as
that
fuck.
cloud sake, that shit's
Yeah,
bomb.
yeah, and
I like
he's
it.
drinking this root beer. Looks like a goddamn IPA.
It's cream
Craft
soda.
beer.
delicious.
Cream soda.
Craft cream.
It's
Me,
craft
me
cream.
and
It's
Skylar
amazing.
requested cream soda.
Amazing.
Cream soda's fucking.
It really
amazing.
is. It's a
cream
gor-
cola is my. I just recently tried cream cola in the last few years. Wow.
Cream corn?
cola.
Says-
Cream cola.
Have
Like-
you had cream corn?
The food? That's
Corn is
disgusting.
is
That's
delicious.
actually the only dinner I would never eat as a kid.
I
That
love
they were like
cream
eating.
corn.
Like, nope,
Really? Out of everything?
nope. That was the one thing. It was corn soup.
Out of
creamy
all the
corn.
things, cream soup?
Cream soup was not having it. Nope, fuck off, not eating it.
Weird.
I was slamming it against the wall.
All right.
For real.
Fair enough.
For
I
real.
don't. I just pickles. Get those things fucking away from me. I will
You might
stab
be
you.
You don't fuck with
surprised,
pickles?
but
Hell
I
no.
love cream corn.
You don't
Hell
fuck
no.
with pickle juice after a shot of Jameson?
What? What
Oh yeah,
what am I, a
picklebacks. I've
grandmother?
had one of those.
Pickleback.
Yeah, those work hell
only
sounds,
thing
good.
that
dude.
The only
sounds
thing that
too much
sucks
like
about
Nickelback
pickleback
for me to
and
ever
that's the
get
only thing that
anywhere
sucks
near
about it is pickleback.
I'm
like
not.
Nickelback.
I'm not gonna do it.
Yo, you know about Moonshine Bandits? You know those cats?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started hanging out with them like a few years ago. I did a tour with them and ICP, which is a really weird because none of us are fucking at all alike. They're like
No, yeah,
country
that's
rap.
a very different like
It's really
group
weird
of people.
I'm basically like a hip hop artist with a live band. ICP is some rock, whatever type
they're
shit.
ICP. The way I describe them is like they're like Kiss or they're like
They're
War.
yeah, like
they're
the music's not so good, but the show
The
is good.
show is
yeah,
insane.
that's kind of their thing. It's
like it's just fucking rockets and tits and soda in your face. Like
You know what's
fucking-
crazy though? I actually never listened to their music till I started touring with Twisted, and then I went back and heard some of their old shit, and I was like, oh, I get it. These guys are storytellers like a motherfucker, dude. Their storytelling shit. Now I get it. And I never heard it back then, like the '90s shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I get it. It's not my thing, but I get it. But I hung out with Moonshine on that tour, and these dudes can drink. Like, they're really country. The one's from Tennessee, one's from Los Banos. But people don't know, Los Banos is in California. That's country, dude.
Los Banos.
Yeah.
Los Banos is
Transfers
country.
to the
The
bathroom.
bathrooms.
Yeah.
Which actually has become a nicer city, by the way. It's become a little nicer.
Yeah, a little bit.
I ain't gonna live
you
there,
know,
but
well, yeah,
it's
it's,
nice.
it's,
It's
Los,
pretty
it's
cheap, I
still Los
think.
Banos, but yeah,
It's affordable. It's not that crime.
But those
ridden.
guys drink
Straight
like
cheap.
they
they're
they
fucking
write.
monsters.
They
Straight
drink what
chip.
they talk about's what they do, bro.
Yeah.
Every night they're putting their arm around me going, Kung Fu Boo Foo Foo Foo, I love you, dude. You're fucking rad, bro. You know, like they're just getting fucked up. And I introduced them while in Kentucky. We had real Kentucky bourbon that's only found there. You know what I mean? Like we
Tight.
got a bottle of that shit. We were drinking it, and I introduced them to the pickleback. Like I had a cold thing of pickles.
You're
I did-
pickleback.
I still don't know one Nickelback song, dude. You're gonna have to enlighten me after this. But
I'd rather not.
they've been doing it ever since. 3 years later, I run into them like, bro, we still do the pickleback. We fucking tell everybody.
Where
it
do
was
you
'cause of
just like have pickle
You
juice?
could do it at a
Sometimes
bar,
buy
man.
a jar. You could do it at a bar,
bar,
which
they
is
have
where I
it.
learned it. I learned
Sometimes
it in Texas.
people will just hit me with it.
I learned it in San Diego.
And they'll be like, "Here,
yeah.
you want a shot?" And then they'll be like, "Boom!" And I'll be like, "What was that?"
I was drinking with some Navy dudes, and
Works.
this fool just was like, "You ever had a pickleback?" I was like, "No." And then it's just like pickle juice in a shot.
Sounds like someone's trying to fuck you, especially like a
Dude,
Nate.
Yeah,
Like,
it does.
yeah,
it's
it
like,
eliminates.
come back here. We're gonna have
it completely eliminates
pickleback. I've been on the boat for a long time. I
the
want to give
chase.
you a
All you taste
pickleback.
is
Never mind
pickles,
the
though.
bumps.
Like
Never mind the bumps on my pickle.
Hey, bro, you ever had a pickleback?
I'm gonna deal you up here.
I got some leather. Put this on. I'll show you.
I'm gonna show you my
No, but you know it's an acidity thing. You
Ah.
take a pickleback after Jameson, and it creates a new flavor that's nice. It kills the aftertaste. But I learned it in Texas on some funny shit. My boy Liquid Assassin, who's like a chopper rapper type dude. He's from Minnesota. Real cool motherfucker.
Liquid Assassin. That sounds like I've heard that before.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
seen
he's
him.
a cool. Oh, you
He
guys
played
played
the
with
masquer-
them. You guys
masquerade.
played with them at the Masquerade, the 8th annual at the when
yeah,
we came
yeah,
back
okay.
on
Oh,
tour.
yeah, okay,
and he's
that's
dope
right.
as
Yeah,
fuck. And
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
you guys were like, bro, your dude is tight. He's real emotional. His songs are deep. He can spit. He can sing. But this motherfucker, I show up from the hotel. We're on tour together in Lubbock, Texas. I show up from the hotel. I get driven to the venue, and he's hammered. And he runs up and he goes, bro. Pickleback, bro, pickle juice. You gotta do this. And they had the shots ready for me at the bar. And apparently, Texas is where they created the pickle back after whiskey.
Sounds like it.
We go to the thing. He's got it frozen
That's some
cold.
Texas
It's
ass
some
shit.
spicy ass pickle juice. We take it, and I was like, oh, okay, this is dope. So
I'm with it.
yeah, I don't really drink Jameson nowadays, but if I do, pickleback's cool.
Pickleback.
Pickleback.
Yo, we're
I still don't know what they
We're
sing.
finna tour. We're finna tour Canada pretty much left
Yeah,
to right.
when,
We're not going as far as Montreal and
We're going
Scotia,
to
obviously, which is a
Ottawa.
bummer. But that shit is like Nova Scotia is like another like 30 hours from Toronto or some shit. Do you know what I mean?
It's in
like,
the US
It's
kind of.
crazy.
Nova Scotia's
It's
on
south of
corner
the
of
US.
it.
It's so
South of
far.
Maine, right?
It's
Isn't
so
it south
far.
of
Yeah,
Maine?
it's
like we would
it's
have
like
to
you
do
go-
a
you go
separate tour
east
to do
and then
that
it
shit.
go down a little.
You would
bit,
do
I think.
Nova Scotia if you're gonna do the East Coast, like New Hampshire. If you're gonna do New Hampshire and get wicked hot,
Yeah.
if you're gonna get wicked hot, you might as well go to Nova Scotia. Yeah, have
might as
fucking
well.
barbecue. You want to have a barbecue?
The kids from
Baby.
Scotia, the
Baby.
battle kids from Scotia, I remember, not Pat specifically, but like dudes that I forgot the kid's name. He'd be like car, bar, fire.
Yeah.
Just in that order.
I told you about the sharks.
Let's go. Hey, let's go to the bar. It's kind of
You
far.
see my sharks thing
Jump
the
in
other
my
day?
car.
Jump
We're
in the
gonna go to
car.
the
We're going to
bar.
the bar. It's kind of far.
I was at a bar here in San Jose
that's
on
a bar.
Friday night, and this dude saw my shark spin. He goes, "Hey, go Shacks." Yeah, I'm like,
Go Shaq.
Shark?
Go Shacks.
And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I said. Shacks, go Shacks." He's like, "I'm from Boston. You know, we say Shacks." I'm
Yo,
like, "So what do you call
the
the
homie Jake?
Who's Jake?
My
From
ho-
Boston?"
Yeah, he's not from Boston, but that fool talks like that. He's like,
He's
no,
not.
the Shacks.
He's
Shacks.
from Fresno, but you
No,
know.
he's from Massachusetts. He's from a
The
place
New
outside
Hampshire,
of Boston.
the New Hampshire kids got the strong accents, bro.
But what were you gonna say? He
He
said, how
came
do
up
you
to. He's just chilling in the bar. Went to this Paper Plains spot, which is dope as fuck. If you're in San Jose, go to Paper Plains. Cool ass bar, man. I'm in there. They let me walk in with the beanie and my typical all black attire, shorts and everything. They didn't even look at me. Just come on in. You know what I mean? And he's talking to me. He's like, I'm from Boston. We have sharks. I go, well, what do you call those things on your car that like keep the suspension going? He goes, shocks. I'm like. So you have the same fucking word for an animal in the ocean and a thing that shocks your suspension. But he literally was like, yeah, it's shocks and shocks. I'm like, okay. Makes
All right.
zero sense.
All right, man.
You
With
just say fuck the R, right? You just Mexicans, they
what
add
I
3
said,
letters.
shocks.
You just get rid of letters. You're just like, there's no R. Fucking R.
Shacks.
Shacks.
Shacks and shacks.
But
Shacks and shacks and shacks.
we're
I put
almost
some shacks in
all-
my shacks.
We're almost all Canadian on this tour. We
very
do
Canadian.
Portland, we do Seattle, we do Omaha and Denver on the way back. But every other
And
day.
Greeley, Colorado.
Oh, and Greeley.
And
Greeley,
Port
Colorado.
Townsend.
Oh, and Port Townsend. Fucking
Which
Port
is going to
Townsend.
be me and Dirt are going to have fun there.
We love Port
Port
Townsend.
Townsend's crazy.
Yeah, Port Townsend's
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Where's that at?
That's way
that's-
north.
That's
like,
where Itchy thought he was gonna die
Why?
Why? 'Cause the window liquor?
because of the window liquor in the
Weirdos?
woods.
Yeah,
we-
dude
we-
ran up and
yeah,
licked the window of the van and
we were
shit.
we were getting some herbal medicine, and we were driving away from this house that was deep in the woods in the mud in the tour van, and Itchy was scared because the people were very hills have eyes-ish almost in
Yeah.
ways, and yeah, just
Nice to meet you. You're very hills have eyes-ish. You know that?
I like how the symmetry is completely off on your
Just a
face.
little.
It's just
Your
like
eye is just a little off.
You're
like
a
a-
mix
you
between
look-
Gumbo, or what is it, Gummy? What is that movie? Gummo?
Gumby?
Gummo? The
Gummo?
movie?
Yeah, Gummo.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're a mix
Gummo,
between
the
Gummo
Widows
and
and
Hills
Gumby.
Have Eyes.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
you look a little melted. Let me tell you.
Oh, no, that's not melted. I had a
Let me
stroke
tell
from doing
ya.
DMT and cocaine one night when I was 14.
man.
That's all. Port Townsend's the shit. It's on, what's the bigger city on that island? What's the bigger, what's it called? You know.
It's another
Port Angeles.
Port Angeles. Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
kind of bigger city. Port Townsend fucks with us. Me and Dan are staying in a haunted hotel that night.
Oh, hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yep. It's all set up.
Hell yeah.
It's a real
excited
deal.
for you.
Fucking,
Port Townsend's
Hey, you
it's
should
nice,
go
a little-
hunt for the show.
dude.
little Port Town. You
I'm
got that
hella,
beautiful
dude.
view.
I'm going to be filming all sorts of fucking tour
In the
vlogs,
darks,
bro.
Me and
Definitely
Dan,
goes hunt for the show.
when I come to this show, and Dan reminds me of the first time I handed him the mic and all this cool shit. It reminds me that we're starting to have some really cool stories together. You know,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
starting to have between touring and the history and
You guys
me-
are gonna have your Scooby Doo story after this trip.
We're gonna
or
have
what?
one. Me low riding when Dan was on the corner at the gas station
Yeah.
getting high with his
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah.
But one thing that I think was a fucking awesome, funny memory was me, Dan, Gmo, and Rec and our crew, Paxton and Jeremy,
Yeah.
were chilling in the van, and we're waiting. We get on the boat in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
And we're sitting in the van, and we're like, when the fuck is this thing gonna take off? We're sitting in the van. We're like, let's just get out. Fuck it. We get out. We look behind us. We're like 3 miles from Seattle. The boat was so smooth.
Yeah.
We're sitting there for maybe 10, not even 10 minutes.
We
right?
didn't know.
8 minutes. And we're just sitting there smoking a bowl. We're sitting in the van.
It was
and
the
we're
first
like,
time most of us had done that, so
I'd
we didn't
never
know
done
that
it.
you could get out and like they like
Wait,
and we
hold
walk
on.
out and we
Are you
walk
on a
up
ferry?
the stairs.
We're-
Dude, you've been on a ferry.
No,
before.
but it was
a couple times when we did the tour up to Port Townsend and had to cut over to Seattle.
Yeah, but I didn't know. I thought we were in a tunnel. I didn't know we were in a ferry, or I thought we were parking. No, this one I thought.
we're in the
You sound
parking
like you were too
garage.
high.
Well, no, we weren't even high yet. We were in the parking garage of the ferry.
I thought we were waiting to get onto the ferry. So I thought we were like, we had parked and we were like, okay, now we're waiting. And then, because you know how like
It's funny,
then they
bro.
opened the
It's
gate and they
fucking
let you
funny.
in. So I thought, and then we all got out and we all like walked out like fucking.
No, but remember we looked back and we could see Seattle and like a mile, probably
That's
a mile, right?
hilarious.
Were we a mile out? Does that sound fair? A mile at least. We were the whole time we were sitting there, the boat was moving, and we didn't feel a damn thing.
Yeah.
And then me and Dan walked to the very edge where you're like 3 feet from the water, and we just sat there and we just were like, wow, bro. We're just looking at the waves and shit, looking at the Seattle skyline, which is probably the nicest skyline in the U.S.
What about when we drove through the fucking? We went to Gallup, New Mexico.
Best drive
and
on
we
the
drove
entire
through
US.
the high desert and shit. And it was like that's like no one goes. We went from the bottom of New Mexico to the top of New Mexico.
No, it
which
was
is
from
like
Phoenix to Gallup is
which
what it
is
was.
like unheard of
Yeah,
because
yeah.
most people go through the Southwest. Like the middle of New Mexico is fucking nothing. It's just like a crazy desert filled with like Joshua trees, and then eventually you hit this fucking like forest, like high.
I've
it's
been on acid in the New Mexico desert.
Oh yeah, yo.
Oh God, I'll let Dan tell his story next because I kind of took the conservative route that night.
Oh what?
I just chilled out that night.
I did take acid in Gallup, New Mexico, and then in the whole tour, I would be like,
place
I
is so
talked to
dope.
God in Gallup, New Mexico.
And you know what? you know that the drugs were good because Dan made a really bad decision the next morning and decided to walk in his flip flops with me to breakfast 2 miles on a fucking highway. We're on a highway,
Flip-flop.
I like
we were like a
stretched
mile
out.
in, and I was like,
Bro, I
man, I
stretched
shouldn't have wore
out for
these
that walk.
sandals.
I was stretched out. I had my Nike free runners on. I had socks. I was ready to walk. This dude has flip flops. We get a mile in. He's like, "Fuck, bro.
My feet are hurting.
This
bro.
breakfast better be good."
We're gonna have to get picked up on the way back, man.
That's right. We called someone. But you know, if in the whole U.S., Dan, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. There's a lot of beautiful drives, right? Like the drive from Montana to Spokane, Washington, is fucking gorgeous. Like, it's like this is what we experienced: snow, and then it stopped snowing, and it was sunny and decent out, right? Like 65 degrees, but the mountains were completely covered in snow, and they were like 30 feet from us.
Yeah,
and
that
they're
was a
white,
trip.
and we're in 65-degree weather with the windows down, with tank tops on and shit. So I mean, that drive was beautiful. But the best drive in the world is from Phoenix to New Mexico.
Yeah.
Because what it is you leave Phoenix and it's regular desert. Maybe 30 minutes in, you're in these canyon deserts with different
and it's like the Joshua
things.
trees and the crazy
And these
like
big dips with canyons, and then maybe
Red
about an
fucking
hour
clay.
later, 30 minutes later, it's really short how it switches. 30 minutes later, you're on the top of these plateaus, and then you get into these pines, these like desert pine trees. It just keeps changing atmosphere every like 30 minutes, and then you land in a little gas station town where there's dinosaurs, and we got out and took pictures with fucking dinosaurs.
Of course.
I think that was in New Mexico. Or
Arizona
Arizona
it was in some
border
like
or
crazy like spot with giant dinosaurs.
And then we ditched all of our fucking amazing hash, mushrooms, and weed to cross some border that when we pulled up, the lady went, "Hey, how's it going? Where you going?" We're like, "Next city." Like, "Right on." And we kept driving. And they told us they were going to search us. We're like, fuck. Remember that? We got rid of all that weed and hash and mushrooms. And what a waste. I did the same shit coming back into the U.S. from Canada. But that was probably a good thing. We got rid of all of our stuff up there. You got to be careful.
Yo, man, I'm excited about hitting the road again. You got new music coming out too, right? You're dropping an album on the tail end of this tour, and you're having an album release at the Catalyst, which is like the biggest, best venue that we can rock out here. Like on our level in San Jose, you're either rocking a fucking dive bar or you're at the fucking SAP Center and shit. You know what I mean? But the
Or
Catalyst is dope
21
because
and
it's
up.
like it's a classic venue. And you're doing the big room at the Catalyst, right?
Yep, doing the big room.
Yo, dope,
First
dope,
time
dope.
ever. I've opened up on that room one time during the middle of the week kind of thing.
With like Tech Nine?
Yeah, and this time we're going to be doing headlining on a Saturday in the big room right when me and Dan come back. We come back early July, and July 9th is the CD release party at the Catalyst. And
And your album's going to be available online that day?
The night before,
Okay.
yep, the Friday, July 8th. And CDs will be available that day. It's a pretty exciting time, man. We're going on tour.
You guys
while,
are performing there?
We're working out details. You may be doing comedy, maybe performing.
Woo!
Well, yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy.
Yo, yeah, it's
That's like fucking half hour from a pad.
It's close. That's
Nice.
closer than here. You sweet.
What are you in? Are you in Watsonville?
Yeah.
Hollister.
He
Oh,
said,
Hollister.
"Fuck you." Skylar said, Gilroy last week. He said, Hey, fuck you.
Never fucking Gilroy.
Not fucking
Hollister.
Gilroy, bro.
Yeah. So we got the. It's crazy. I'm gonna be finalizing the graphics while I'm on tour. We've got the album. It's sitting in ready to go. Pre-sales and pre-orders are gonna be up June 17th.
You got music videos on deck.
Crazy
singles
music
for this
videos,
one, right?
man. Yeah. We got a new single dropping today. When you're hearing this, it's called Fire. And it's featuring Ubiquitous of Cess Crew, who is signed to Strange Music.
Dope.
And the infamous Locksmith from the Bay Area.
Oh yeah, dope.
So it's
dope.
me and them two, and we did a video for that. And then my first single, it's a solo single song called "She Is a Villain," drops the day of the CD release party. So it's pretty wild. I've been shooting more videos this year than my whole career.
Oh, that's
period.
dope. Yeah,
Whole
yeah.
career, yeah,
No,
yeah.
yeah, for sure. You've been very like selective about it, and it's dope that this album will get to see more than 1 or 2 music videos off it. You're gonna have like a fucking
Sure.
bunch.
Trying to do 8. There's 8 songs I want
Nice.
videos for. So we'll see if I can pull it off. You know.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I got a other thing I got coming out this summer is there's gonna be an animated. I forgot the style art. It's flash animation mixed with like Japanime style music video with me and Hobson. A song me and Hobson did. There's a music
Dope.
video coming out with it in that style, and the dudes are from Russia that are creating the video. So there's a lot going on, man. And fall, I'll be doing my big U.S. run, 45 dates, and that's
Damn.
gonna be insane.
Damn,
That's gonna be
full.
November,
That's a
December.
lot
I'll
of
be
fucking
gone.
show.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to do the Canada one for me, especially because I've got to go to like Calgary, go to Vancouver, go to Toronto a lot. But there's so many spots in the middle that I've never
Yeah,
got
that's
to
really
go
cool.
to
You
where
get to
people.
see.
Yeah, I get to meet the real King of the Dot
Yeah.
fans, like for sure, 100%.
You're gonna be all
Yeah,
up in
totally.
Canada.
Have
Yeah,
you been
I'm
to
gonna be
Saskatoon?
all up in fucking Canada. No, hell
Saskatoon?
no, I haven't been.
So-
to Saskatoon.
Dan's gonna be right in
I'm
Canada.
stoked. I'm
Guts.
stoked to go to Saskatoon.
Right in your
I'm stoked
guts.
to go
They're
to
gonna
Grand
love-
Bend. Logan
Yeah.
keeps going, where the fuck is Grand Bend? I'm like, fuck you, Logan. I don't care.
How do you
I'm
live there
stoked
and
to go
not
there.
know?
It's along the water, eh?
He's just mad
It's all
we're not going to his
Canada.
house to go do push-ups and
Well, the
give
thing
dick
is, that Dan, is that you and the vampire guy, you need to be careful when you're driving because there's moose in the road.
Yep.
And in Canada, you can't hit the moose. It's a federal crime.
You
And
go-
then you won't get pardoned, and then they'll send you back.
They get demerits.
And then also,
Get demerits.
when you're there, try some poutine.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
sorry about that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry to
Hey,
tell
Dan,
ya.
sorry to come on your show. I'm sorry.
sorry, sorry to come on. your
Hey,
show.
battle rappers, I'm sorry about that. I'm just kind of here. But anyways, I like
Sorry
you.
to all the fans.
Sorry. I just want to say sorry.
how we're gonna
Bro, we were in the middle of Canada. We were in the middle of fucking Canada trying to get pancakes at an IHOP, and this guy said sorry so many times. Mr. Gray finally lost his fucking mind. He's like, dude, stop saying sorry. Get the fucking pancakes. Get the fucking pancakes. I'm sorry. Dude, shut the fuck up. Get the pancakes. Sorry. I mean, it just never ended. They love sorry is like excuse me.
You
or
know that's
dude,
when you're
know?
you know you're totally American when like you get mad at how polite somebody is in the middle of Canada.
Why are you so?
No, it
fucking
got
polite?
ridiculous. We love. See, here's the
Knock
thing.
it off.
I feel like I'm Canadian. I love Canadians. I relate to Canadians. I'm a nice guy. I like nice people, and I think like
Everybody
I relate
should
to
be
them
nice.
more.
There's no reason to not be nice.
Life is short, man. I met a fan at the Catalyst Tech 9 show a couple weeks ago who basically had this drunk conversation with me out front. Big motherfucker. Telling me how he's like, yo, man, I was the guy in Chico who started a fight with you. I was throwing shit at you. I was telling you to fuck off. I heard some rumors about you. Found out later they weren't true. I didn't want to be cool to you just because my ego was hurt. But then I found out you were just so nice. He's like, and I like you. He's like, I wanted to fucking hate you. And I said to him this, I was like, bro, life is too short to be a tough guy. It's all about love and having fun. And I've gotten so much more shit since I've been a nice, mellow dude than being a mean, tough guy. And he was like, I can't agree more, man. And like, that guy's my friend now. You know what I mean?
That's
And this
what's up.
dude fucked up one of my shows and did some serious shit that most people would bomb on him for. But Canadians, you guys are fucking amazing. And honestly, that's why I haven't toured in a year, bro. I'm going to Canada first because y'all motherfuckers are the shit, and you're going to get the first preview of the Look Alive album. The brand new album, Look Alive. Canada gets to hear it first. So
Dope. And we're going to set it off. And we're going to do, and if you guys want to get in on the show, we're going to set up fucking battles, which is going to be dope because we got live drum and bass situation cracking. And we're just going to get some freestyle battles cracking. I'm going to be your host with the most, which is great because if for some reason like both of y'all are garbage, whoever y'all is, then I'll just make fun of both of you. You know what I mean? And it becomes like an extra.
That's why I like bad battles better than good battles.
Well, that's why that's how freestyle battles can be good. Is that if they can be, it's either they're one or the other. They're either like fucking amazing because dudes are cooking, or like dudes are so bad and you're like, whoa, did you hear that? He just said he'd suck his dick. That was weird.
That's always weird.
30 seconds, it's on you. And you know what I mean? And everyone just has
thanks
so
to freestyle battles, I once heard a guy say, "You have the penis size of a cheetah's eyes." It's so fucking stupid.
That's amazing. Yo, the best. I think this battle format, right? They're not gonna know who their opponent is.
No, not at all. It's
gonna be almost like a freestyle.
It's gonna be the first 4 people that sign up are gonna get paired off randomly, and it's gonna be 30-second rounds. It's flip a coin, classic shit, old 8 Mile style and shit. I'm gonna be your boy Future with minus the dreads.
I'm really feeling bad that we didn't make it a compliment battle. I was thinking back at it. It's like we're in Canada. We're pretty nice guys.
No, we could probably set that up.
At least one of them
on the tour. At least one time on the tour, we will do a legit compliment battle, and you get bonus points for saying sorry.
Dude,
they should do an apology battle.
Dude at the back bar, Mario, the security dude, super cool. He was like asking me the other day, he's like, "Hey, Kung Fu, I'm trying to explain a compliment battle. This guy, he doesn't understand how to do it. Can you show him?" I'm like, "I'm not a battler, bro." He's like, "Well, just how would it be?" And I'm just like, "Man, you're so great. If I want anybody to fuck my lady, it's gonna be you."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You look like you brush your teeth a lot, floss, blah blah blah. Going up, he's like, "See, that's what I'm talking about. It's awesome because everybody's happy." And I was like, "Man, you're Canadian, bro." And then that made me think we should have fucking done a compliment.
Just compliment battles across the board.
Mistake me if I'm wrong. Did you lose a battle because Roan or somebody complimented the fuck out of you? Did this happen? Saying you weren't dirty?
The angle that he took was very complimentary.
Okay.
It was Dirt's a good guy.
Dirt's a loyal, good man.
Okay, I think I heard it from you or Skyler. Someone told me.
I don't feel that there are many people that believe that I won that battle. So I feel like that's a pretty accurate.
That was Bird Bar's
and that
battle.
dude's a beast, right? That dude's a beast.
He's the current
That's one of the best. That's one of
champion.
the best run performances in my opinion.
Oh, it's great.
Like he's fucking hilarious in that fucking.
You know what's crazy, man? I like this guy so much. We're on tour with Potluck, and they were at the time on the same label as Mad Chow, friends with Mad Chow. They're like, "Yeah, that Mad Chow battle's dope. Your boy Dirt got dusted." I'm like, "Bullshit, motherfucker. Watch the battle." I made all of them watch them all. Watch the battle, get high, watch the battle. Tell me again who won. And I said, forget the claps every time Mad Child says Canada. Who the fuck won the battle? He's like, "You're right, bro. Your boy won." So Canada, I love you, and you may love your Mad Child. I know you're starting to like your snack the Ripper a little more, but hey, listen, this dude beat Mad Child. Period.
It don't matter.
I don't care if he doesn't care. He actually hopes he loses because he wants those Canadian
it don't matter.
fans.
It just don't matter.
He doesn't lose much. But I personally, I see that battle. I'm like, yo, bro, Mad Child for not being a battler was dope as fuck.
I should have gave him a lot more hell being the guy who had like the experience and shit. And I always said with him it was just a wild card. Like I had no idea what kind of stuff he was going to bring or like who he was going to be.
Yeah.
And never could I have ever anticipated that he would be a silver-eyed lion.
You fucking took the next thing out of my mouth. I was going to say, are you sure you're not a fucking giant running through the forest?
No, bro. I never even like I'm familiar with Mordor, and I've definitely like I've read
Animal, Cannibal, Corridor, Hordor.
Yeah, I know. I'm
He's
familiar.
Dope, bro. Mad
I
Child's
knew
dope.
that spells were being cast. I didn't know the specific spells. You know what I mean? I couldn't pinpoint what was happening, but I was like, oh no, this is magic.
Oh,
this is wizardry.
There's magic afoot.
You started looking around and you're
like, oh shit, is this? I'm like, is wizardry?
Dan was making sure his people were still with him.
He's like,
not again. Nobody's been turned into a frog yet.
Fools were like, nope, we're not with you. They're like, you're a victim of wizardry. We're just gonna watch this shit.
The whole crowd.
You are forever unclean.
What if that's the reason the crowd was cheering was because he put them under spell?
Cast some sort of love spell on the audience.
Canadians are like, Mad Chow won. He said sorry at the end, dude. You lost. He said sorry.
He's polite.
You know what they tell me a lot is that he kissed me afterwards too. And
on
I
the
guess
side of your head?
and I think he kissed my beard. I had so much beard that I didn't feel it. You know what I mean? I just knew that he was like, yeah, exactly. Like that's all you're kissing is just like you're just getting a hair
Sweaty
He
beard
saw him,
kiss.
he went for the hug, and he's like, I guess I just get some of this way.
He's also good.
I'm just gonna get a little bit of that beer.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
That was a good battle. The
Not
Mac
bad.
Lethal battle was good too. I'm a fan of
Yo,
battle rap. I'm a fan of battle rap. So Canadian battlers, when you show up to the show, don't be like Kung Fu. I want to battle you, because then I'll say, okay, if you can do a 4-part harmony with me and play drums,
Yeah.
then I'll fucking get in your
Get
shit.
on stage.
But we don't do the same thing. I
Get
don't do
on
that. I'm a
stage.
fan of battle rap. I love battlers. Even some of the shitty ones, I still see the potential in them, and I respect them because that shit's hard, man.
Even the
Battling's
shitty
hard,
ones.
bro. Stand-up comedy, that shit is hard. I'm a big stand-up comedy fan, man. Dan knows. Any chance I get, I'll go to the improv, you know?
Yeah, and,
Big time.
and it's a lot easier to get people to come to comedy shows than it is to get people to come to hip hop shows. So the beauty of this is that it's a comedy show, it's a hip hop show, and if you want to get up on stage and fucking battle, then you could do that shit too. But the reality is that this guy's shows are always a little more than a hip hop show. You know what I mean? Like we roll into town with the fucking trailer, with the motherfucking lights, with the fucking drums and the fucking amps, and it's a whole fucking production. You know what I'm saying? And it's dope to watch because the Jeremy and Chris, who are responsible for the live instrumentation portion of your shit, they work throughout the whole tour. Like every stop, they're like, oh, you know, we could do this here, we could do that there, and they add little fucking bells and whistles and shit. And it's like every show gets to be a little different
It
and a little
tightens
better.
up.
You know,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just dope. It's and it's cool to watch because like the musicianship of like hip hop, like especially on like the battle end, it's so just about the rap. You know what I mean? And so when I got to go out with you last time and I was just doing songs, you know what I mean? And not comedy and not doing any kind of hosting of any battles or whatever, it was cool to just be like, oh, this is what it's like to do fucking shows. You know what I mean?
When I
Like-
went on tour recently, that was the first time I've only like traveled and just done music where I didn't have to like stress about yelling at someone the next day, and I just got to do, like you said, the same songs night after night.
Yeah,
and like after a few couple shows, I was like, this is pretty tight actually.
Yeah, you get
know,
dialed
like-
in and you feel comfortable. But to
Yeah.
watch it happen on like a, you know, more of like, for me, it's like I got to just get the song right and get the fucking my breaths right or whatever. For him, it's like the fucking lights go when he
Yeah,
jumps
that's
and it's
a-
fun.
that's
It's a
a whole
different
level,
yeah, it's a
yeah.
whole fucking different thing. So it's cool to watch that shit throughout the tour, and it's cool for people that come there. Like for on my end, and this will be one of the rare times where in Canada I'll be bringing some fools out who will be like, "Who's Kung Fu Vampire?" And they're like.
I know who he is and not me up there in some of those cities. So that's dope.
And they'll be like pleasantly surprised all the time. Like I can always count on like they'll go into the show with whatever kind of preconceived notion about you because of your name and come out like, yo, that shit was fucking crazy with a t-shirt and shit or a fucking beanie. You know what I mean? Because it's live as fuck, and it's definitely hard not to get caught up in as someone in the audience. You know, there might be a fucking death wall or whatever. You know what I mean?
I'll probably
Like,
sign your girlfriend's tits.
that's boobs will get signed. You know what I mean?
Burlesque titties.
I'm always impressed at the amount of boobies this guy signs. It's always an interesting, like, I'm like, oh, whoa.
They become just object. I'm always like, how old are you? Okay, if I think they're even close, I'll fucking distantly sign their neck. I'm like signing their neck. They're like, no, sign my tits. I'm like, no, neck. Not getting near your tits.
I'll hit some collarbone maybe. That's as far
Hey,
as
on
I
another
get.
note, how is there even Canadian battlers? I can't imagine Canadians being that mean.
Yo, some of the meanest people I know are Canadian.
Maybe that's because they never get mean normally. So they're
Pat
like,
Stay is crazy
I'm never
mean.
mean. So when it comes to a battle, everything I think about everybody's coming out on you.
Pat Stay is
That's
like,
the
he's crazy mean, and he's like big and scary, and he's Canadian as fuck. And
Well,
he's like one of the
Canadians
best.
can
He's
fight.
like one of the
Canadians
best
can
dudes.
fucking brawl.
Well, yeah,
they
for sure.
brawl, bro. They put it down. In Saskatoon, there was like 6 fights at one show. It was Twisted Tech 9 and Kung Fu, so there was like 1,500 people there. But there was like bikers fighting. Everybody was fighting and putting hands up. Like I was looking at the punches like, yeah, that's a good punch. That's a good punch. I don't want to be near that punch. So
Drunk fights, bro.
Canadians can fight, man. Fucking love Canadians.
Drunk
If
fights.
you're
Well,
Canadian
hey.
and you're watching this, I love you, eh?
Hey, well, if you're Canadian and you're watching this, check out the tour dates that I'm putting on the screen right now. We're coming to town. We're coming to all of these fucking places. You can get tickets at kungfuvampire.com. Link to new music from him on the screen and in the video description. So fucking click on that shit and check that shit out. And we will see you motherfuckers very shortly. Anything else to add to the situation? At Kung Fu Vampire on everything, right?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram. You want to see the cool day-to-day life shit. Twitter if you want to talk shit to me and get a response. Facebook if you want the real info, all the details. And don't miss this show, man. We put a lot into coming up to Canada for you. You know, we got the request, me and Dan, to come up there, and we made it happen.
Yeah.
And I worked my ass off.
It's
to
like
get us
bringing
up
San
there,
Jose to
Really.
you too, for real though. Like
We're bringing you culture. We're bringing you comedy. We're bringing you things that are, I guarantee a lot of people are not bringing to your country, you know. And
it'll be fun.
It's not easy crossing the border. The exchange rate's bad, so come support. Show us some love. We're gonna show you love. We're gonna give it our all. And shit, man, let's do a compliment battle.
Cheer.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Dirtbag Dan Show. Whoa, you bitch.